Well, I'm quite sure many of you woke up this morning to the dulcet tones of Ella Jones on Radio 2. And lots of you, I know, will be tuning into BBC One to watch him presenting Songs of Praise this evening. Or this afternoon, you might even want to listen to his new CD. You're right. Alan is everywhere, and I'm very glad to say he's here.
How are you?
Well, how are you, more to the point? You've done a radio show this morning.
I have, yeah. I was up at 5:15. I feel all right, actually. Not bad at all.
That's okay. You got out of the old radio clothes, into the smart clothes, a dab of makeup, and here you are.
That's exactly it. You know more than anyone. You don't have to dress up for radio. I do it in my dressing gown.
I want to ask you about your state of health, actually, because there's been a lot in the press about you being very ill at one point, not that long ago.
Yeah, not very, very ill, really. I was in dress rehearsal for a pantomime I was doing in Richmond, very close to where I live, and the last 10 minutes, my Achilles snapped. And so basically couldn't walk. I went off to hospital thinking, oh, this is fine, you know, I'll be back there for the first performance tomorrow. It didn't happen. I was off for 12 weeks, absolutely doing nothing at all. And it's still not right. It wasn't right for a year. Then I got deep vein thrombosis a week later, so I had the nurse telling me on the 14th of December, you're only allowed 1 glass of wine a night. I said, get the leg off. You know, I can't go through Christmas like that. But it's been pretty bad. You know more than anyone, I'm sort of always on my nerves, always working, dashing around, and suddenly found myself sat on the couch doing nothing, watching daytime TV. But the kids loved it. You know, they had Dad at home in one place.
You see, there's an upside to it.
Exactly, yeah.
But on the other hand, did you hit some sort of dark places while you were sitting there trying to mend?
Well, I'm not like that as a person. You know, I always try and find the positive. Although when they did say that I couldn't fulfill the show, I was very, very upset, and I thought about doing it on crutches, but it wasn't feasible. You're not allowed to put any weight at all on this injury, you know, and it is a horrific injury, as many people have done it. Andrew Barr did it at the same time as me, but he had a very smart contraption that would get him across the BBC. It was like a little scooter. I struggled.
On a trolley?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. All the glamour.
So it's still not right?
Still not right. Won't be right till pre-Christmas, but I'm doing my exercises. I've got a great physio, so, you know, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
So there were no Strictly Come Dancing this year, then?
That's a good thing, don't you reckon?
Oh, very good thing, particularly when you wore your sequins.
Yeah, I've given up. As you can see, I've put all the weight I lost back on, and it feels great. I enjoyed it when I did it, but, you know, I wouldn't want to do it again.
No. Actually, let's talk about the new album, because it's a bit of a change, really. And I gather you've studied a lot of songs for the deeper meaning for this album.
Yeah, because, you know, I've always been known as someone who sings hymns, and I'm not going away from that. I still love singing hymns. They're the best sort of music around. But the album that's going to be out in October is kind of more, it's still spiritual, it's still inspirational, but it's pieces like, you know, If by Bread. If a picture paints 1,000 words, then why can't I paint you? It still has meaning. They're not just songs that I've picked out just because they've got nice tunes. There's more to them than that.
So what kind of songs in particular, then, were you listening to over and over again?
Well, I wanted the sort of song, the same feeling you get with a song like You Raised Me Up. Quite anthemic, but also has that sort of stirring feeling. And there's a song there written by the guys, Secret Garden, called Always There, which is very much like You Raised Me Up. And it was my chance to work with a band as well. You know, there's a guitarist, acoustic and electric guitar, upright bass, drums even. I didn't play drums myself, even though, you know, I have been learning. And it was just such a lovely experience. You know, I've been very lucky. All the albums I've done as a man, you know, the 6 albums I've created as a man, they've been really, really happy times. Well, I've done 23 in all, so, you know, it's... but that was in the past. But they've all been really, really enjoyable. Because
you spend so much of your life in and around religion, stroke faith, stroke how people lead their lives, how has all of that, and particularly this period of reflection, maybe changed you internally? It's changed me beyond belief. Working on Songs of Praise has changed me beyond belief. You know, you get to meet some incredible people that have had sort of incredible things happen to them, and their faith can only impact on you, really. It's made me more of a Christian. I'm not someone who goes to church every Sunday. My church is, I suppose, Radio 2 on a Sunday morning. But, you know, God's with me in everything I do. Yeah. And I'm just wondering about this song that you're going to sing for us today. Yeah. Just tell me a little bit about that and why you chose it. Well, it was originally sung by your mate Cliff Richard and Van Morrison. It was written by Van, and it's on the album as a duet. I think some of the stuff he writes actually is Van? Yeah, incredible. Very evangelical. Oh, yeah, and how? And if you think I've released quite a few albums, you go to the record shop and see the Van Morrison section. It goes on and on and on and on. But no, yeah, that's what I'm looking for, that sort of inspirational quality in a song. So this track in particular? Yeah, I love it. I've done it before, again, as a man. But, you know, it's different now. It's 5 years on, and I can put more feeling into it, really. What's it called? It's called Whenever God Shines His Light. Lovely.
I feel like I'm going to do... Matthew,
yes, I'm going to let you skip across that.
Okay, I'll do
You've got to be active again. Watch the Achilles heel.
Oh, don't let it go.
Yeah, I know. Well, while Alan gets ready to perform, there's just enough time to tell you about next week's Heaven and Earth. We're going to be dropping in live on Glastonbury's Goddess Festival. That'll be one to watch. And we'll be talking to the very funny star of Goodness Gracious Me and the Kumars, the Sanjeev Bhaskar. And there's music from the fabulous Scottish singer-songwriter Yvonne Lyons. I hope you'll join us then. But right now, we are going to leave you with Alan Jones and a new version of that old spiritual. So from all of us here, thanks for your company and have a great Sunday.